Hey everybody, welcome back to Sergeant's Talk TV. I'm Big Mike.
Normal size Jason.
Hey guys, we got a good one for you this week. Hey, the VA has let's not jump ahead of ourselves. Congress has a new HR House Resolution 6047, the Sherry Briley and Eric Edmondson Veterans Benefit Expansion Act of 2025. That's a long one. Okay. And we're going to talk about that to see if you're qualified for it, how much it's really going to be, and what brought this act around and why Congress is so keen on getting it passed. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're glad you guys are here. Dude, messing with a toothache. And this is the toothache that I had a root canal done. And you figure on a root canal, they remove the root. So I don't think they did it properly. And this thing is killing. Oh, man, just like shockwaves through my freaking head. Probably have an infection in there or something's going on. So I got to go to the dentist. I want to go to the VA and just have them prescribe some antibiotics for me, like they did last time I had before I had the root canal. Just so happened it coincided with an appointment, and she said go to the CVS and the VA will pay for the antibiotics. So, because as soon as you walk in the dentist office, ching 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 ching, and then they'll tell, if you need, we set you up for it. No, I only come to you when I'm in pain. They go, what? I said, I absolutely hate you guys. Never had a good experience with the dentist. Sorry. If you have, I'm sorry, but never had a good experience. All right. And it's kind of like, they said, what are you talking about? I said, well, let's see this. When I was in Bosnia, I was eating some trail mix and I cracked a molar. Guess where the dentist office was? Was out in the field at Base Camp Lisa. I walked in there and the grass was up to my kneecaps. That was the dentist office. And they're going, oh my gosh. And I said, yeah. And this old dude, when he was pulling the rest of that tooth, he was up on the chair. I said, because I got some big ass roots. And he told me, he goes, I have never seen a tooth that big in my life. I said, hey, thank you. I don't know what to say.
Right.
But I've never had a good experience. I mean, even when I was a kid, like I said before, I come from a very poor family when we were growing up. We were on county health, and we only went to the dentist when the trailer came around to the schools, and all the poor kids lined up to go see the dentist. That's when I seen the dentist. Okay. And then when I went into the Army, they're going, holy crap. He goes, county health care? And I said, oh, yeah. How'd you know? He goes, I know their work. I said, yeah. I mean, it was crazy. But I got to get this thing taken care of. And my dental care, my health care doesn't kick in until 1 January. Because I had dental when I was working for the government. And I retired over a year ago, year and 5 months or 4 months or whatever now. And my Medicare dental Part C doesn't kick in until January 1. So if I'm going to go to the dentist, I got to pay this out, out of my own pocket. So, but man, it's just like, feel like a cartoon with a heartbeat.
Just rip it out. You don't need it.
But anyway, guys, we're glad you're here. We didn't put the link up there because we got a lot to cover tonight. We want to make sure you guys get all the information. I do see that we got 18 people in here. And let's say hello to some folks real quick. There's Devil Dog.
Right.
Oh, I forgot. There's
yeah.
Brian and Brenda Hulk. And Cullen.
And
Hello,
Cullen.
Cullen. How you doing, brother?
Always good to see you, little buddy. So there's Dana Mason says, Mike, Tim and I are lurking. Hope everyone is having a blessed day. Stay warm, stay away from Dana. She's got the flu, y'all.
Woo.
So I'm guaranteeing if she's got the flu, the babies ain't there. But hello anyways.
Yep. Judy Herman. Hello to you.
And there's our sister Denise all the way out in Cali.
Kelly. There's Tony at our cabin in the woods.
Ready to run some marathons yet with that brand new bionic knee, right? Make them faster now, right?
Yeah.
There's Debbie Drock. Always good to see Debbie.
There's our friend Charmaine. Hello. How are you doing? Good to see you.
And there's Rebecca, touched by yarn. Always good to see Rebecca. I'm sure Ronald's probably hanging around somewheres.
Rebecca says, I remember when they pulled my upper wisdom teeth out, they were growing sideways, and I woke up and felt everything they did. Yeah. Yeah. I had to have mine. My wisdom teeth came in, and what they were doing was they were pushing up on my permanent molars. And so they had to go in and cut my cheek and go into the side and remove my wisdom teeth. That sucked.
Mine popped out fairly easy. I had 2 in boot camp and then 2 as soon as I got to the fleet. But
yep. Hey Terry, how are you doing? Good to see you.
higher level review, just got the letter in the mail, got denied for no new information.
Oh wow.
That's crazy, Eddie. And he's been, I mean, his wife has really got him, up there at the level rating he's at now and done a lot of work for that. And then to go in and get a denial.
Yeah.
Although I was seeing some stuff, I don't know how much it's, going out, just a couple different clips and videos where they're talking about trying to remove CMPs, but I don't know that they're going to.
Yeah, I seen the video where the secretary of the VA was talking at the cabinet meeting, and they talked about eliminating CMPs. There's no reason to do a CMP if the condition was annotated in your military medical records. So if you didn't file right when you got out of the military, and let's say you did it 10, 15, even 20 years later, once they pull up your medical records from all the way back that's stored in St. Louis and they see it in there, there's no need to do a CMP. It's automatically service connected. They're not saying that there's no CMPs for new or secondary new and stuff like that, but they're eliminating all that. Why are we going through this? It's in your medical records. It's already service connected.
Well, and it's all part of that process. Like they were talking about in that conversation was clearing the backlogs, you know, to where hopefully things are going to streamline and go through a little quicker. So Rebecca says, what they had to break my wisdom teeth out of my upper part of my jaw. That's why I don't. I'm with Big Mike and evidently Rebecca too. There's no work done at the dentist that I enjoy. That's the last place that I want to go ever.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's the babies who got me sick. Ooh. Well, there you go.
Ooh, Stella's got to have surgery on the 22nd for tonsils and adenoids. Oh, that poor baby girl.
Yep. My son Kevin had that done all at once. Get it all done at once.
If they have the problem, it's better to do it that way.
Yeah. There's Patricia. Hello, Patricia. If you are getting a raise, I sure am glad you deserve it. Yeah, it's a 2.8% raise is coming down. In fact, it's supposed to show up on your December check, the 2.8% pay raise. So there you go. And if you've got VA, it's 2.8%. If you've got an Army retirement check, it's 2.8% on that too. If you've got you're collecting Social Security, it's 2.8% on that also. So triple dipping. Hey, Miss Nay, how you doing? Good to see you. And there's our friend over at Mr. Leonard Mountain Homestead.
It's Chris. Up, Chris. He says he actually had one up just a little bit. Their youngest son just got his acceptance letters from OSU today.
All right. Yeah. Yep. I'll tell you what, I got a CMP exam. I've got one. They've set me up for the 23rd of December. I've got to go in, and it is for sinusitis because they denied me under the Pact Act before. And then when we went back through and looked at what they had wrote in the denial letter, it said I didn't serve in the airspace in the following countries. I'm going, dude, what the F are you talking about? How do you as the VA not know that I served there? It's all through my medical records. You know what I mean? I said, it's all through there. And well, the company that I went through, they caught that right off the get-go. They go, whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. He goes, you're supposed to get at least 10%. He goes, but we're going to get you more because that's a bunch of crap. And in your military records, it said that they illegally had us sign a waiver, which they shouldn't have done. And because we were guarding oil well fires after everybody was leaving. And they said, oh, we need you to sign this medical waiver. And the government can't do that to you. So I said, well, there you go. Because I remember coughing up oil every freaking night because they just give you that little paper mask. And it was just black when you got off duty. And then they started shortening your time. It didn't help. And then at night you're blowing your nose and black oil was coming out your nose because you were breathing in the smoke all day. Yeah, it was nasty stuff, guys. So, and I'm going, wait a minute. My unit was the last one out of there until they started doing the rotation where everybody rotated through.
Oh, yeah.
Missions after that. So, Ryan Holt. Oh, what did I just do? Cullen was playing in front of the TV. YouTube popped up, and he just started screaming and jumping up and down.
That's awesome.
We're not superheroes, but we did play one on TV at one time.
There was that one time.
Yeah, that one time.
Awesome. Well, I think we made it. Oh, there's Brian, a Vineyard Farmhouse, popping in.
All right.
So, yeah, I think we made it to the bottom.
Yep, we sure did. So, little background. The Sherry Briley and Eric Edmondson Veteran Benefit Expansion Act, introduced by Tom Barrett, a Republican from Michigan, would create a significant increase in benefits for a forgotten group of veterans and their families for the first time in over 20 years. 20 years. Okay.
Yeah. There's Charlene Grady. Good to see you, Charlene. Hopefully the cape ain't too cold. So, yeah, like we said, we're going to give you a little background on these, why this act is named for them. Sherry Briley is a surviving spouse of Chief Warrant Officer 3 Donovan Lee Bull Briley, an Army Special Operations Black Hawk helicopter pilot who tragically lost his life in Mogadishu, Somalia during Operation Gothic Serpent, while providing aviation support to the ground forces that were part of a United Nations peacekeeping mission objective at the time in '93. Donovan and his few soldiers' actions inspired the movie Black Hawk Down, and his story of service continues to be told today. Following her husband's death, Sherry Briley has made it her mission to honor fallen service members by ensuring the families left behind are never forgotten and they receive the survivor benefits they have earned. Surviving spouses like Sherry would directly benefit from the expansions this bill would make to the VA survivor benefits.
Yeah. So what this bill is going to do, if your husband died on active duty, there's no chance of him applying for VA benefits. Okay. So the wife, if your husband died on active duty, then they would get your life insurance, your SGLI insurance that you actually pay for, even if they should give it to you, but they take it out of your check, a small portion. And that's it. Okay. If they were over 20 years and they were eligible for retirement, then your family, your spouse could apply for a portion of the retirement, not the full retirement, but a portion of it. What this act does is puts money in those families' pockets. Okay. And as you're going to read, and you've seen the thumbnail, it comes out to $833.33 or $10,000 a year. Is that enough to compensate a family for losing their soldier in combat? No, not even freaking close. Okay. But it's something. It's better than nothing, some people would say. Now, the Sergeant Eric Edmond is a Army veteran whose vehicle was hit by an improvised explosive device, IED, on October 2nd, 2005 in Iraq. Eric sustained life-changing injuries, including a brain injury, which changed the course of his life by ending his ability to speak or walk. Despite these challenges, Eric continues to lead a full life through enhanced medical technology and therapy. Sergeant Edmondson's wife and his parents serve as the full-time caregivers to allow him to still do things he enjoys, including going to the gym, doing yoga, painting, and spending quality time with his two children. Families of catastrophically disabled veterans like Edmondson's would directly benefit from the benefit expansion. This would make to allow veterans like Eric to live comfortably in exchange for their service in uniform. Okay. So if your spouse died in combat, this HR bill is for those families. If you had catastrophic injuries like Eric did, then this benefits your family and yourself above and beyond your VA benefits. Okay. And or if they retired you because of your, usually when you have a catastrophic injury, you're 100% medically discharged. Okay. That's your discharge, 100% medically discharged. So this would be on top of what 100% VA disability would be paying them each and every month, the $833.33. Okay.
So the Sherry Briley and Eric Edmondson Veteran Benefit Expansion Act would, these are some of the things that they're looking at putting on it. Increase the monthly support payment that survivors receive by an additional 1% annually for the next 5 years, providing a needed increase for these survivors who have not seen a non-inflation increase since '93. Wow. The bill would also significantly raise the monthly benefits rate for catastrophically service-connected disabled veterans with a traumatic brain injury or other severe disabilities that require regular, round-the-clock, in-home medical care, offering an additional $10,000 annually. Over the next 5 years, over 500,000 disabled vets and their families would be positively impacted by these changes. This bill would be the first significant increase for this cohort of veterans in decades.
Yeah.
We're talking about going back to '93 since they've seen a significant.
But what this act does, if you read up there, a 1% annual. These families, let's say they lost you in a war zone, and they got a portion of your military pay. When they give a cost of living allowance increase, they're not included in it.
Right.
Okay. And they have not seen an increase in death benefits since 1993. You hear it all the time, guys.
Yeah.
You hear it all the time. Oh, the most important person is the soldier and their families until you die, okay, and then you're forgotten about. Oh, here's some money over here, and we're moving on. That's wrong. They gave the ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
Not only did the soldier, the airman, the Marine, whoever the hell it is, died, a part of these families died. And not getting the support or increases annually like everybody else is getting, that's not justice. That's not taking care of the family. They say, oh, when you serve in the military, you're part of the family for life. Really? Okay. Really? So this is what's going to change it. Yeah, it's 1% annually, but it's better than nothing, and that's what they're saying. This act will do. And then, like I said, that $833.33 adds up to about $10,000 annually for the family. And the good thing is, this act is going to bring in 500,000 more people into the fold of the government taking care of them over the next 5 years as they go in here and they do all the paperwork and move this whole thing along once it's approved. Now, the president said he's already going to sign it. Okay. I don't know what the children in the House and the Senate are going to do. So, let's see what happens there, right? So for years, veteran service organizations, VSOs, have emphasized the need for improved benefits for catastrophically injured veterans, their families, and their survivors. This bill would answer the call from the VSOs for veteran dependents, catastrophically injured veterans needing in-home care, and veteran survivors receiving VA benefits to grant them the benefits that they've earned. Now, one thing you got to remember is, oh, by the way, if you have a service member that you're taking care of, we did do a video on the caregivers, okay, and how you can be hired by the VA and be paid. So check out that video and in our list of videos. Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can, if you're the caregiver, you should be getting paid by the VA for providing care for your service member. Okay. On top of that, you still qualify. You can still qualify for this program, this HR House Resolution Bill. What did I say it was? 6047 for this one, and get paid on top of that for your service member that was catastrophically injured, and it takes you and your family to take care of him or her. Okay.
So yeah, the Sherry Briley and Eric Edmondson Veteran Benefit Expansion Act would transform the lives of over 500,000. That's what we were talking about. Veterans and their families, filling crucial gaps in VA benefit delivery. Because like I said, there's a lot of the 500,000 that aren't even getting it that should.
Yeah.
And then American heroes, families like the Brileys and the Edmondsons, and the hundreds of thousands more like them should never have to worry if they'll be able to make ends meet. Because that's something that they don't really look at a lot, right? Like, kind of like Mike was saying earlier was, hey, you're going to get the survivor benefit or the SGLI or VGLI, whatever, right? You get the life insurance. That's a one-time payment. It's not spread out. It's not like it's a, hey, you get this, you get the death gratuity benefits, you get the final pay, you get all these things, but that's a one-time. And how many times do we know? And in most of these cases, right, the service member was the one and only sole income for that family, right? So now you've got a spouse and children or parents. Maybe they were the caregiver for their parents or, whatever. Like when we're talking about, a service member who's deceased, they get a one-time payment and then it's done unless they get a good VSO of some sort that can go in and let them know about a lot of these different programs that they're not going to openly talk to you about. Kind of going in this thing like Paul had put in there, right?
Yeah.
Why are they going to take it out of their pockets to give it to you, right? They need to fund their vacation homes and all the other fun activities that they play kindergarten up there.
Exactly.
So, they're not going to just willingly come out and be like, oh, by the way. So unless people are getting this information and knowing about it. The other one is with the catastrophically injured, right? Requiring full-time care. Now, they'll be provided for, right, up until the service says, okay, hey, we've done everything that we can medically, and then they're going to get separated, right? And they're only going to receive bare minimum based on that condition only, right? They do a medical retirement, but they still take part of that retirement, and that's how they fund their VA portion. Is they take from their retirement and put it over onto the VA side, which in the long run kind of helps, right? Because anything from the VA is non-taxed.
Right.
So they kind of save from there. But if they're a full-time caregiver and you're not getting paid to do that, but yet you're the 24-hour caregiver that has to do everything for that service member, you've got to get in there. And this is going to actually, like, once this goes through, this should help streamline that process of getting, what they're calling. And I'm saying, if they're saying 500,000, it's probably way more than that.
Yeah.
But if that's what the numbers they're willing to put out to the public, then it's probably double or triple.
Right. Exactly.
People that they deserve this, right? The service member took the time to go over, and he's the one there that, I don't want to always say he, right? But that's typical for us. They're the ones that signed up and did the sacrifice, but now their families are sacrificing themselves because they have to be their full-time caregiver. They should be more than overcompensated. And to say, even on that one where it was talking about only 10,000 a year, that ain't enough. I mean, you can't put a price on anybody, right? No. There's never a life. There's no amount of money. But if they're full-time caregivers, how can they work anywhere else? Right. And there ain't nobody out there who can live off 10,000 a year.
Yeah, I was going back up here, and so Donovan Briley was a CW3, okay? Mm-hmm. And his as a CW3, Chief Warrant Officer 3, he was bringing in more than $4,200 a month. And that's what 100% VA disability brings in, okay? He was probably bringing in 6 or more, plus all his benefits for housing and, separate rats and all that kind of stuff. So he was making a lot more than what 100% disabled is. So going into this and adding more income to the family, of course he didn't live, but if he would have lived, the most he would have been making was 4,200 a month, 100% disabled retirement out of the military. So, and then if he would have lost a limb or something like that, the SGLI doesn't pay out 100%. It pays out a certain percent per limb or whatever.
Right.
You get that money for losing whatever, a foot, an arm, or whatever. You get a certain percentage, but not the full amount of your SGLI. Well, and everybody knows if you're getting an SGLI, the first thing that's in your mind is, as the spouse, is I've got a mortgage. Can I use this to pay off my mortgage first so I don't have that payment every month? You know what I mean? That's the way I would think. I would say, oh, shoot, I pay off my mortgage. Now I don't have a mortgage. I just have the taxes. And if you live in a state, okay, where you're the surviving surviving spouse, does the death of your spouse entitle you to a break from property tax? If you did live and you lost a leg or whatever, and you're 100%, does your state exempt you from paying the property tax in that state? Those are all things you got to really, and it's a lot to take on besides the grief of losing your loved one. Okay. I was on grave detail, and I had to go to several families and help them with their paperwork and stuff like that. It was the last 6 months of my military before I retired. All the retirees, the people that were moving out, they went on grave registration detail. And if service member died, you had to go fly, drive, or whatever to assist those families in getting all their survivor benefits and all that stuff laid out. And you can request that as a family to the nearest military installation. It doesn't matter. You can contact them and they will send somebody out to help you with that paperwork. The other thing that I would really encourage spouses, male or female, be a stickler with your service member. You need to know where everything's at. Okay. Oh, well, he takes care of all that. No, when it comes to the military, you can't say that because you can lose your service member at any time, and you need to be the one wearing the frickin' pants when it comes to where's all the documentation, where's your contract, where's your will, where's your life insurance, where's all this stuff. Okay. That is your responsibility, and you need to kick your service member in the nuts and tell them, hey, I'm in charge of this. Because if you die, you're not going to be here to take care of this mess after you die. So just remember that if you're a surviving spouse, that's what you should be doing. Okay. And then finally, under this act, the Sherry Braley and Eric Edmondson Veterans Benefit Expansion Act would deliver vital support to the catastrophically, why did they give me that word? Catastrophically injured widow, dependents, and survivors, many of whom have not seen their benefits properly expanded in decades. Okay. 1993 to be exact.
Right.
The Sherry Bailey and Eric Edmondson Veterans Expansion Act would enhance the lives of veterans living with limb loss, severe disabilities, quadriplegics, paraplegics, and their families to deliver on the debt we owe to those who have served. I'm going to tell you something. It Terry will tell you her grandpa was paraplegic, and they had he didn't have the benefits that we have now and stuff like that. But it's full-time work. All right, a paraplegic. They have to be moved. They have to be scrubbed. They have to be washed. They have to, all this, and it's a constant job. Okay, to take care of somebody. They have to come in and they have to do exercise, even though they can't use it. There's still range of motions. There's all kinds of stuff that has to be done, and that's why it's so important for the spouse or whoever the caregiver is. It could be a child, it could be whoever goes to the VA and applies for caregiver status. So you can get paid for taking care of your service member. So, and that's vital, guys. That's absolutely vital. So, hey, so we always want to bring you good news, okay? And this is good news, okay? Once it passes the House and the Senate, and the president already said he was going to sign it, that's just one more awesome benefit or tool in the veterans tool chest or the surviving spouse's tool chest to take care of their families and stuff like that. So I
kind of going in that line. Yeah. Paul was asking about, we'll go back. And so the veterans on the streets claim their benefits. Over here, you got no address, you don't qualify for benefits. And then of course, Judy had talked about her grandson. He's in a homeless veteran place. I don't know 100% with that. Now, if they're in a shelter and they have some sort of an address or something they can provide, then absolutely, they got to be able to provide their ID and stuff. But an act like this could be something that could make it where veterans aren't homeless.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the big step that a lot of these lawmakers, if that's what they want to call themselves, are looking at trying to get into is, right, the huge pandemic of homeless veterans. When they come back and they can't get jobs, they can't do these types of things. And I've been seeing some stuff lately, which I watch it, right? I watch it because, one, I mean, it boils my blood to listen to these people that never served, and they're doing interviews with service members, and they're like, why is it every single service member that comes on this show has got 100%? Like, did they just hand this out as your discharge papers? And like, he didn't serve, so clearly he didn't know. And I'm going to give him that benefit because, well, one, luckily it's through a screen and I don't have the authority to throw punch him. But the biggest point of coming back, and especially with the homeless veterans, a lot of them, they have so many mental issues. And if they don't have a support system at home, which is going to cause them to run off, they can't keep down a job because they have PTSD, TBI, or, any variants of those, they're not going to be able to work to be able to make money. And that means they're not going to be able to afford housing. They're not going to be able to afford food. And if a family isn't there to help support them, and too many times the story is the family can't afford to support them, right? They have too many needs. But a program like this is something that brings in and be like, okay, well, fine. If your son, daughter, spouse, whatever, instead of kicking them out on the streets and being like, you're a grown adult, figure it the F out, take yourself up to the VA with that veteran, apply for some of these programs we're talking about, especially with the catastrophic injury, because then obviously service member's still alive, and get compensated for that time.
Yeah.
Like, you've earned it. They've earned it because they did the ultimate sacrifice and they didn't come back whole. But then the family shouldn't suffer at the same time. Like, get compensated for what you want to. Normal insurance companies out there do the same dumb thing. If you're in a car accident that requires, they're going to pay your spouse to take care of you.
Yeah.
Like, you got to know the questions to ask, and the people, not necessarily the people to talk to, but just going in and asking those questions. And then that triggers those people to be able to know, okay, these are the programs we need to lead you towards.
Yeah. So I would tell you that we work with a bunch of veteran motorcycle groups in Colorado Springs. I was with Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association, and then you had Vets MC, you had Vietnam vet MCs, you had Rough Riders, you had all kinds of people. And they put on a one station veteran stand down on a Saturday. And then the first year I was at that thing, we had over 700 homeless veterans come in there. I didn't even know there were that many homeless veterans in the Colorado Springs area, but they were busing them down from Denver also and up from Pueblo, and then bus them back to wherever they wanted to go. And they would set up, we had banks there. We had lawyers there. We had barbers there. We had big stores handing out, coats, new shoes. You can get a haircut. If you were in legal trouble, we had lawyers there that donated their time. And one of the things, I was sitting down, this older gentleman, he came in, and so I was his escort, and they said, "Do you have a bank account?" And because he said he was retired, from the Navy, I believe he was retired from the Navy. He had a VA rating of 80% when he got out. And they said, well, he goes, yeah. He goes, and he pulled out of this old Ziploc bag he was going through, had papers in there, little pieces of paper, and he goes, this right here. And the bank lady went on her computer and found out with the routing code and all that stuff what bank it belonged to and his account number. He had all that stuff. And she's going, oh. So she talked to the lady on the phone, and she said, hey, I've got this gentleman here. He's a homeless vet. He has a bank account number with you. And they got the guy on the second phone, and they were talking. And he hadn't touched his bank account in 19 years.
Oh, wow.
The dude had more money than he knew what to do with, but he chose to be homeless. And I'm going, he goes, really? I have that much money? I said, yeah. And I said, you don't have to be homeless. He goes, but I like it. He goes, nobody tells me what to do. I get to go and travel wherever I want to travel to. I said, yeah, but with this money, you don't have to walk no more. You can freaking take a Greyhound if you want to. And he didn't realize he had that. And come to find out, you don't have to have an address, because normally when you've been homeless for 19 years, someone's probably sent and stuff got shipped back to the VA or whatever. But you can go to the VA. You know why you go into the VA and they ask you, do you have a fear of being homeless, or are you homeless? Those questions they ask you every time you go to the VA, because they have a way to track you if you don't have a permanent home address.
Well, I mean, your name and all your information's in the system.
Yeah, it's all in the system.
If you've registered with it, it really shouldn't matter. I mean, there is the challenges of changing from your home VA clinic to another one.
Yeah.
And they actually have it. What do they call that? Because I had to do it down in Corpus Christi. Veteran in transit. Transient. Yeah, you're a transient. And they
Because
said
there's a
that,
lot of people that live on their RV and they just travel.
right. Well, and that's what I was asking them, because like I said, it's at first I didn't even know there was a clinic in Corpus. Like I called TRICARE, and was like, hey, where can I go? And they sent me to some worthless walk-in clinic. And then I talked to a guy when we were back on base, because we were camping there, and they said, well, there's a VA clinic. And I'm like, you're kidding me. So yeah, I went out there and was talking with them, and they're like, well, technically, because there are, especially down there in Corpus, that's a big snowbird area for people coming from the north. They
Right.
said, yeah, you could call and register with the VA prior to you leaving, and you basically let them know you're going to be transient. And then that way, no matter what VA clinic, which they're going to treat you either way, it's just how they clear up their end for the paperwork.
Yeah.
And if you register as a transient, it makes it easier to go back and forth. Because I'm like, they were almost making me go through the whole re-registration process to get in at Corpus, and I'm like, I'm just trying to like get my eye checked out and this ear infection, and get some meds refilled.
Right.
Like I'm not permanently located here. And then somebody, I guess, walking by had heard it and come in and was like, oh no, like put them in the system as a transient, like don't fully re-register them down here, which they did. It still showed up. So when I went back to Michigan, I had to go in and be like, all right, change everything back. Like, I live here. This is my permanent address.
Right. Yeah, I seen the guy. He came into the McAllister VA. He was from Alaska, and he was down there. He came down to bury his mom, and he had flown down, and he was in there because they had lost his luggage, and his medication was in his luggage. Dude, if you travel, your drugs better be in your carry-on.
Yeah, always.
And so that's what he was doing in there. And I overheard him talking. Yeah, she goes, I just now put you on transient status, and we can fill that for you. And you can go down to the CVS and pick all your medications up there, and the VA will pick up the bill. Because here in Oklahoma, the CVS is the one that the VA uses. And that's one we use, and we don't pay nothing if the VA tells me to go down there and pick up drugs. So it's kind of good to know. Find out which one is in your state or your area that the VA is working for. So, but yeah, I just think it's a shame. There's no amount of money that can replace somebody, but for them to take this long to do another HR to help surviving families is since 93 is totally wrong. I mean, these are things that our senators and congressmen need to work on, and not, instead of working on this, let's support illegal aliens staying in the United States, or let's go down to a foreign country where they took somebody out of the States and took them down there, and let's have, a margarita with them down there, or let's have a beer with them and talk it all over. See, that's what doesn't register in my brain with our.
I think it falls in that same category, though, right? Like we talk about a lot on here when we're explaining to everybody, because there's something new that we found out about.
Yeah.
So we want to spread that information, and I think that it's about having the right people in the right place.
Yeah.
And now that we have there is a new Secretary of the VA, and this guy has been adamant about trying to clean house and get things more efficient and taking care of the veterans. And I just think that the previous ones, I don't know much about them, but it's pretty obvious to me when we're seeing a lot of these new policies, and look at all the changes that we've talked about in the last 2 years of things that have been happening with the VA and improvements and all these types of things that are going on because there's new leadership up there. There's new people that are bringing it. That interview that we both were referencing, he's sitting there with Pete Hegseth and Trump and the whole cabinet, having a discussion about these things. And I just think that the prior administrations that were running the VA and running everything else, it just wasn't brought up. They're just like, whatever. Kind of that whole, I label it as like the Vietnam veteran syndrome, right? They just wanted to forget about them because, they didn't think everybody was supposed to be over there. So if we just don't talk about it, if we just don't take care of it, it'll just go away. Well, they didn't. And unfortunately, a lot of them are passing away now, but the ones that are still around are getting benefits and getting the treatment, and everybody post Vietnam is definitely fully eligible for benefits and that kind of stuff to be able to go in. Even if you don't think you qualify, go in there. You never know. Somebody's going to find something to give you a little bit of something. No matter what. I mean, my brother, I know I've talked about him quite a bit with that, is he's the prime example of it. And he's the one that when everyone's like, well, I don't rate nothing. I'm like, if there's anybody out here that doesn't rate anything, it would be him. He never even made it to a permanent duty station. He made it to his schooling. And then they wouldn't even let him officially graduate because of medical stuff. And the dude's getting a check, 10% disability check every month because he contracted stuff through with boot camp and AIT. So,
I mean, it's kind of weird that the last administration, they were more worried about, how you're supposed to address somebody as him, them, they, their, it, whatever, rather than taking care of business, the business of the American people. You know what I mean? That's instead of helping the veteran, they're more worried about, addressing somebody correctly. And stuff like that. That's what pisses me off.
Well, in their own pocketbook, right? I mean, look at all this stuff that's coming out of the water now. Of how there should not be any career politicians. Plain and simple. Should not be a thing.
No.
But that's why that a lot of these systems and these things that have slipped away, right? These programs that should have been, I mean, to say that there's a group of people that have got none of the pay raises, yet everybody else affiliated with the military that gets any kind of compensation has gotten it, but this group, and they haven't gotten anything since 93.
Yeah.
And they're survivors. It's not like, oh, well, I don't want to put it lightly, right? But they're not people that are dealing like if I didn't, like if I was to die tomorrow, right? These are ones that their military service member died overseas defending our country.
Yeah.
Like if anything, they should be overcompensated.
Yeah.
Very
absolutely. Absolutely.
But that service, it's just,
it's crazy.
They were talking about had to stay on half benefits while I fought the system to get it sorted out. Turns out they only backdate to the 1st April and not the years you fight for yourself.
Yeah. Well, the same thing with the VA. The VA only backdates to the day that you filed intent to file. And you have 1 year to turn in all your paperwork for it. Now it may take you another year for them to process it, but as long as you've got all your stuff to them within that year, whatever that date is, and for like me, my date was the 24th of December last year, and we just turned it in October now, and they've already written me back and they said, hey, we need some more supporting things on statements, and I had to write those and I turned them all in, but I got everything in there before the 24th of this year. Now they could take a whole year to approve anything, but whatever they do approve goes all the way back to December 2024 as far as back pay.
Yeah, and that's why it's always important, and that's, whenever I've talked to any veterans, and we told everybody on here, was if you're looking at doing a claim or thinking about, hey, I want to get one started, then you need to do the intent to file like today. as soon as possible. Like, you have a year to collect up the documents and show the proof and get to the doctors and do all the things that they want. But the sooner you put that intent to file in, that's what they're going to backdate your payback to. So
exactly.
And that depending on what the final rating comes out, but either way, that's still a pretty significant check. You know, it's not. It sucks in the meantime, right? You're not getting any compensation. You're not getting anything while it's going on. But to make up for those months, you know, or possibly year, you know, 2 years, whatever, however long the time makes for them to give you a final decision. But they do seem to be going a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
I know that.
I think so.
The last couple times that I'd heard people putting stuff in, it's been going much quicker, because I know prior, like closer to when I first retired, that was a 2 to 3 year wait on an answer for anything. You know, and so to be able to get something to even get an answer, whether it's a yay or nay, within 12 months has been pretty impressive. But
so I will tell you, if you want to read this HR in its entirety, we did put it in the description of this video. Also, if you want to check out more information on VA benefits, we do have that link in the description. If you want to talk to somebody about all your healthcare options, we have a link in there. And if you want to talk to somebody about starting a VA claim, we have the 1-800 number in the description also, and they can tell you how to get started. The easiest way to do it is to go to va.gov, start you an account on there. They will verify whether you were in the military or not, and you can start right there, because it's just a click away to fill out the EZ forms and turn the stuff in and move forward with your claims. But if you're one of those people that need to talk to somebody, the 1-800 number is in the description, and you can talk to somebody on the other end about starting a VA claim. Oh, and also to file your intent to file a claim. So that's also a good place to start. Okay. So I want to thank you guys for coming in here. It went a little bit quick. It wasn't a whole lot, but we thought it was vital information that people needed to know. And not just the people that came in here, people that scroll through the internet and they go, oh, what is this over here? Or they're typing in, oh, I'm going to find out about this HR Act. Our video will pop up, because that's how we listed it in there. And they can watch the video and get more information as they move forward with settling up with the VA. So just wanted to make sure everybody knew that. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, guys, if you're a veteran in the United States, you're a much luckier person than being a veteran in Canada, being a veteran in England, or any other country. I don't know any other country that has a VA system and stuff like that as the United States does. So when you complain about it, just think there's veterans in other countries that go through a lot more crap than you do. Trust me. So anyway.
Don't get anything for it.
Yeah, don't get nothing for it. So anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming in, sharing this evening with us. I started, what is this? I started with 10%, and I had to keep at them for 20 years to get to 30%. Yeah. And see if there's anything else. But anyway, guys, remember, be kind to one another. Help somebody in need. And always think of that. Guys, we love you. God bless you. Anything else, brother?
Just merch page, guys. If you go to
it is in our
did you get it linked in there? Yeah. If you want any of the Sergeant's Talk TV merch, it is down there. We also will be doing we'll do the shameless plug, right, for the Mid-America YouTube meetup.
Yep.
So we'll both be there for that. You can get merch for that also. That link is down there. The same link that's down in there, because I know there's been quite a few people asking and wondering and questioning about it. And no, I don't think there's an option. If you want to cut your sleeves off, you got to buy a full t-shirt and do like I do and just cut them off.
No, we do have a t-shirt on there with no sleeves.
Is there one with no sleeves? Okay.
I got one with no sleeves. And
Okay.
it's funny.
Actually, I think there's a tank
more
top.
Money for a t-shirt without sleeves than it does with sleeves.
See, and I always just buy mine.
They sew it up.
Yeah, see, and I buy mine. I don't like the sewed up ones, the pre-made one. It doesn't ride right, so I always just cut my own anyway.
Now.
Huh?
We got tank tops now.
Yeah, and there's tank tops. There's all kinds of stuff in there. So go check it out, guys. Share us out like you do. Appreciate every single one of you coming in here. Those of you that are watching this at a later date, thank you for sitting through it. And hopefully this information has helped you. It's helped us for sure, just by getting the information out and being able to talk about it. So appreciate every one of you. We'll see you on the next one.
All right, guys.
Bye now.